Dodgers decade. I am John Hartung alongside Jerry Hairston Jr. and also Bill Plunkett as we begin the second half now of the 2020s. The first half's been pretty good already, Jerry. It's led to 2 World Series titles here in Los Angeles.
Boy, have we had fun. Obviously, 2 great teams. The first, the 2020 team, and then the 2024 team. I cannot wait for the back half of the 20s.
Well, Andrew Friedman has put it out there. He wants this to be known as the golden era of Dodgers baseball. And they're off to a pretty good start.
Yep, 2 in the first 5. We still got 5 more to go. Simply put, though, the Dodgers have been the best franchise in all of baseball so far in the 2020s. As we take a look at the numbers, first in regular season and postseason wins combined. If you like offense, well, they score the most runs per game. And if you're more of a fan of pitching, they have the best team ERA as well. They've played in October every year this decade. And as Kike, we heard him say at the World Series rally, who has more championships than the Dodgers in the 2020s? Absolutely nobody. Let's begin with some of the biggest moves that put in place this dominant decade in motion for the Dodgers, because before the 2020 season, the Dodgers acquired 2018 AL MVP Mookie Betts. He said he wanted to bring rings, plural, Jerry, to Los Angeles. He's already made good on that promise, winning 2 in his first 5 years with the Dodgers.
I'll tell you what, you talk about a guy who's game-changing in so many different ways. On the defensive end, the best right fielder on the planet, can also play the middle infield. He will be your shortstop this season. Dynamic in the batter's box as well. Has light tower power, hit the ball in the gaps, doubles, triples as well. Just a complete baseball player. I've been watching baseball since the early 80s, John. In my eyes, he is one of the most complete players I've ever seen, really, in any sport.
You won't get an argument from me. That 2020 postseason, he was transformative. The Dodgers had already been making the playoffs every year, but he transformed them. The way they played, the way they won was different once he got there.
It seemed like every single game in that 2020 postseason run, he was making an incredible play defensively, helping the Dodgers overcome a 3-1 deficit in the NLCS to beat those Atlanta Braves and en route to that first World Series championship. There you see it right there. Since 1988, 32 years, of course, that was the one back in 2024. Now, in 2022, a former postseason rival came home when Freddie Freeman signed with the Dodgers after that legendary stint with the Braves. Freddie's been an all-star in each of his first 3 years, set a franchise record for doubles in a season, took home World Series MVP honors, Bill, and provided, yes, a pretty good moment there in Game 1 of that Fall Classic.
Yeah, I seem to recall something important happening when he came up to the plate there. He's just a rock. It's just day in, day out. You get the same effort. You get the same production. He's just been a rock for them to build everything else around. It's pretty impressive in these days of load management.
Absolutely floored that really no team really wanted him during his free agency. And I'll say it again, floored. Had they not been watching what Freddie Freeman was doing in Atlanta, he led that team to a championship. Clutch hitter as well. We saw it obviously with the Dodgers, but with the Braves, his whole career he's been clutch. Great with runners in scoring position, a great leader in the clubhouse. Stunned that Freddie Freeman fell in our lap, but are we glad he did, because he has been outstanding.
In some ways, it was down to the Dodgers or Tampa Bay Rays to get Freddie Freeman back then. The Braves had no interest in bringing one of their faces of the franchise back. 2024, record-breaking contract for the unicorn, Shohei Ohtani, then turned into that unanimous NL MVP season in his first year with the Dodgers. Jerry, the first 50-50 season in the history of Major League Baseball and a World Series title. The first year could not have gone any better for Shohei.
I'll tell you what, no disrespect to Messi, who is an incredible soccer or football player. Patrick Mahomes, brother, I played against your daddy. All respect to you, but the best all-around athlete in the world is this guy, the big show, Shohei Ohtani. He did not take the mound for the Dodgers last season, his first year, but what did he do? 50-50. Are you kidding me? With those home runs and stolen bases, really changes the game on the base pass and at the plate. Incredible performer, and I just love in his very first year with the Dodgers, he exceeded all expectations at the plate and also helped bring a ring to the Dodgers.
No, he didn't pitch last year, but he rehabbed from a major surgery all summer long, all season long, and also while he was doing that, went out 50-50. There was a night in September, I think it was, early September in Arizona. They were over there for a series, and Shohei had just started throwing bullpens within like a week or so. And he was on the bullpen mound, letting it eat. and an hour and a half later led off the game with a home run. That's just nobody else is doing that. He is a unicorn of all unicorns.
I remember when he was going through all this, and just the thought of someone doing 50-50 in Major League Baseball, it just seems completely preposterous, but we saw it happen. The Guggenheim ownership group has truly given Andrew Friedman and the front office really every resource they need to win. They brought in the superstars. They've also brought in great complementary guys like Teoscar Hernandez and Tommy Edman, Bill. They've developed impact prospects, found players off the scrap heap, and that skill to win has been combined beautifully with a will to win.
Yeah, the decision-making in the front office has been elite level. I mean, can we think of someone they let get away and really blossomed and you had regrets? They've let good players get away, but nobody has given them, reason to lose sleep. So the decision-making, the young players that they've integrated into the lineup, the trades they make at the deadline every year, their decision-making is an elite level.
Listen, these guys, we talk about being competitive. We have competitors on the mound, but we got competitors in that front office. Listen, they know what is at stake. They know what they want to do for this fan base, making sure they have a chance to win every single year. That's why they bring in guys like a Shohei Ohtani, Yamamoto as well. We just saw Roki Sasaki. But also, you mentioned it, John, the complementary pieces. You need guys that know how to play with stars and know their role. Guys like Kike Hernandez, obviously Tommy Edman, who has been outstanding, and obviously Teoscar Hernandez. He's a star in his own right. I don't want to call him a complimentary because he's a superstar, but he acts like a complimentary piece. So bringing in the right guys to gel, important.
All right, well, the 2020 postseason was unlike any other and featured all of the drama and heroics we expect from October baseball. Up next, a look back at some of the memories that we will never forget from that year. Plus, 4 years later, Dodgers popped that champagne again. It was no easy task to choose the 10 best plays from that epic fall classic against the Yankees, but we pulled it off.
The 28 guys that are on the active roster right now are the only 28 players in the entire world that woke up this morning with a chance to win the World Series. So we're trying to finish this tonight.
Dodgers have won it all in 2020. In a year like no other, tonight, tears of joy, let them flow. The Dodgers are the champions of 2020.
Yes, October 27th, 2020, the day the Dodgers' 32-year World Series drought ended with a Game 6 win over the Tampa Bay Rays. That 2020 season, as both of you guys know, it was so unique from the shortened schedule, the challenges of COVID, playing that postseason in a bubble in Arlington, Texas. That October run gave us so many memories of holding our breath and cheering in elation. So we're going to play What Were You Thinking When right now, Bill. Let's begin with the moment. What were you thinking when the Dodgers came back from down 3-1 against those Atlanta Braves in the NLCS?
Well, I was thinking that I was going to spend a little more time at the Residence Inn in Arlington, Texas, John. That's what I was thinking. I wasn't in the resort bubble. I was in my own bubble. But the thing that struck me was the momentum. You see that in the postseason. Momentum is only one play away. And the Dodgers just grabbed it away from the Braves thoroughly and kept it going into the World Series.
I concur. I mean, down 3-1, I was like, uh-oh. But we still had the horses, still had the talent. And if this team, which I knew they could, have that resolve and be laser focused and just focus one game at a time, if they get to Game 7, I knew they were going to win that game. They got to Game 7 and won it and went on to the World Series.
Of course, when they were down 3-1, Jerry, that was the birth of Johnny Positive, as everybody here knows, because I said, they're going to come back and do this. Corey Seager cemented himself as a premier postseason performer, hitting 8 home runs that October, won both the NLCS and World Series MVP trophies. Jerry, what were you thinking every time Corey Seager came to the plate during that run?
I just remember back in the day when Reggie Jackson was locked in I believe it was the 77 World Series. I'm sorry, Dodger fans, but that's what Corey Seager was doing in the postseason. He was on that type of tear. Every time he stepped to the plate, he was going to do something dangerous and great for us. Talk about a guy seizing the moment. NLCS MVP and World Series MVP, a homegrown product, doing right, doing great things for the Dodgers.
We had seen hot Corey Seager for stretches during the regular season when he was with LA, but to see it in the, the crucible of the postseason, the big moments, he was red hot.
Then in that clinching Game 6 of the World Series, Blake Snell, he was cruising right along. He had pitched 5 1/3 scoreless innings, but after a 6th inning, 1-out single by Austin Barnes, Bill, Kevin Cash removed Snell after just 73 pitches. What were you thinking in that moment?
I was thinking, now that's commitment to a bit. I mean, they had decided that Blake Snell could not pitch a 3rd time through a lineup. They had done it all season long. He was coming back from Tommy John, I believe, that year. But to do it in the World Series when the guy is shoving, he gives up a single to Austin Barnes. I mean, that's the catalyst to pull him out. Yeah, that was commitment there.
Yeah, I'm sure Blake Snell is going to be loving this right now. But again, listen, Blake Snell was absolutely dealing, and you got to read the room a little bit. Listen, I know during the season you want to make sure you have your ducks in a row, so to speak, but this is the postseason. Adrenaline counts for a lot. Thank you that he was taken out because he was dealing.
And the 2020 champs, they finally got to celebrate at Dodger Stadium the following April. Fans had wanted a title so badly for one man in particular. What were you thinking, Jerry, when you saw Clayton Kershaw finally getting that ring?
I was so happy for Clayton Kershaw because he earned this ring. This guy was outstanding in this postseason run, helped lead us to that World Series. Well-deserved. One of the best players, not just pitchers, one of the best players I've ever played with, ever been around. So happy that he got his ring. Now he has rings, plural, to go with it. But that first one, very proud of Clayton Kershaw.
One word, legacy.
Yep.
Because it had been so difficult for him up to that point with all the criticism. Yeah, but look at his postseason. Yeah, but look what he's done in the postseason. Well, that kind of erased that. And now that he's got 2, the legacy is in place, and you don't have to play the yeah, but game.
His World Series plaque will at least say 2-time World Series champion. Hopefully, it'll be saying 3.
And he had 2 of the 4 wins in that 2020 World Series against the Rays. It's pretty easy to guess what the #1 play of the 2024 World Series was. We relive Freddie's walk-off grand slam and the best of the rest from last year's Fall Classic. An under-the-radar trade could end up having implications for the rest of the decade. January 11th, 2024, the Dodgers traded Michael Busch and Yency Almonte to the Cubs for 2 then-teenage prospects, left-handed pitcher Jackson Ferris and outfielder Zaire Hope. Ferris was the Dodgers minor league pitcher of the year in 2024, struck out 145 batters in 126 2/3 innings, and Hope mashed in the Arizona Fall League, hitting 5 homers in 23 games, and he is now ranked highly on 2025 prospect list. The player development machine, it just keeps on rolling for the Dodgers. You combine that with the established stars on the roster, it's always a special team to watch. So we're going to do some predictions right now. Jerry, I'll begin with you. How many World Series do the Dodgers win over the rest of the 2020s? 5 more years to do it.
5 more years. I think it's going to be 3. I think they win at least 3. And listen, I don't want to put clamps on them because they could win 5. But again, these guys are so focused and they understand about legacy. We talked about earlier. They want to be like the late 90s Yankees when they ran off 3 in a row. I think they win 3 of the next 5.
I like that. They could win 5.
Hey, I'm not going to doubt them.
Not 6, but 5. They could win 5. I'll go a little more conservative and say they won 2 of the first 5 in the decade. They'll win 2 of the next 5. There's just so many things that can happen to derail a team. It's just
true.
Well, Shohei won a ring in his first year. He says he wants to win 9 more.
Yeah, let's do it 9 more times.
That does it for Access Sportsnet Dodgers Decade. For Jerry and Bill, I'm John. Cannot wait to see what's in store for 2025 and beyond.
2020年代のドジャースは、まさに黄金時代と呼ぶにふさわしいものになっている。シーズンごとに新たな伝説を生み出し、チームの結束力がさらに強まる瞬間を何度も目の当たりにしてきた2020年のワールドシリーズ制覇から始まり、2024年にはメジャーアリーグ史上類を見ない快挙を成し遂げた。そしてこの勢いはまだまだ止まらない。思い返せば、2020年のポストシーズンは奇跡の連続だった。3勝1敗で追い詰められたな。リーグ優勝決定シリーズでアトランタ・ブレーブスを相手に 大逆転劇を演じ、そしてワールドシリーズではタンパベイ・レイズを相手に32年ぶりの歓喜を手にした2020年のコーリー・シーガーの爆発的な活躍、ムーキー・ベッツの圧倒的な存在感、クレイトン・カーショーの悲願のリング獲得瞬間を思い出すだけで胸が熱くなる。そして2024年、大谷翔平がドジャースのユニフォームに袖を通し、新たな伝説が始まった。開幕前の期待は計り知れないものだったが、彼はそれをはるかに上回る活躍を見せた。シーズン50本塁打、50盗塁というメジャーア・リーグ史初の驚異的な記録を打ち立て、まさにユニコーンの名にふさわしいシーズンを過ごした。驚くべきことに、投手としては登板しなかったにもかかわらず、彼のバットと足がドジャースに新たな力をもたらし、最終的にワールドシリーズ制覇に貢献した。これはもう映画のような展開としか言いようがない。試合の中で見せたパフォーマンスも圧巻だった。特に9月のアリゾナでの試合では、リハビリ中の大谷がブルペンで投球練習をした1時間半後、試合で先頭打者ホームランを放つという離れ技を披露した。こんなことができる選手が他にいるだろうか。まさに唯一無二の存在だ。もちろん大谷翔平だけではない。ムーキー・ベッツ、フレディ・フリーマン、吉田正尚、山本由伸、さらにはルーキーの朗希佐々木といった選手たちが2020年代のドジャースを牽引し続けている。そして彼らを支える控え選手やチームを陰から支えるスタッフ、フロントの手腕も見逃せない。優れた選手の獲得だけでなくて、オスカー・ヘルナンデスやトミー・エドマンといった補強選手も絶妙な働きを見せ、まさに勝つためのチーム作りが完成している。そして何よりも忘れてはいけないのがファンの存在だ。スタンドからの大歓声、熱い応援、SNS での盛り上がり、すべてが選手たちの力になっている。2020年代はまだ折り返し地点だが、残りの5年間でどれだけの偉業が達成されるのか、期待せずにはいられない。ここで皆さんにも質問したい。これまでのドジャースの中で最も感動した瞬間は何だろうか。大谷翔平が2025年にどんな記録を打ち立てると思うか。ドジャースは2020年代で何回ワールドシリーズを制覇できるのか。ぜひコメントで皆さんの予想や思い出を聞かせてほしい。ドジャースの未来を一緒に語り合おう。そしてまだチャンネル登録をしていない方はぜひ今のうちにチャンネル登録と通知をオンにしてほしい。ドジャースの最新ニュースや試合ハイライトを見逃さないためにも次回の動画もお楽しみに。さあ、2025年もドジャースと共に歴史の目撃者になろう。